My question is to the Minister of Labour. Does she agree with any of the conclusions reached by the Department of Labour in its trial employment periods evaluation? If so, which ones?
Order. I believe the question that's actually written on the order paper was not that which the member originally, I think she intended, does she disagree? Am I correct there? She wants it, does she agree? Okay, I beg your pardon, I was misinformed on that. The Minister therefore got the correct answer, correct question, the Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, I do agree with some of the conclusions reached by the Department of Labour, but can I say the evaluation was not exhaustive and in some areas could not be conclusive, but it has provided some very encouraging indications about how the 90-day trial is helping New Zealanders into jobs.
Supplementary.
May I hear the Honourable Member? The question did ask, does she agree with any of the conclusions which the Minister has indicated, then asked, if so, which ones? And being a question on notice, I think that should be indicated, should be answered, which ones, which one of the conclusions does the Minister agree with? At least some of them.
Mr. Speaker, I agree and I applaud the conclusion that 40% of employers using the trial period wouldn't have employed that person if it wasn't for the trial period, and that has to be a positive benefit of the trial period.
Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. Which statement is correct? The statements from herself and the Prime Minister that this policy has helped those on the margins of the labour market get jobs, or the Department of Labour evaluation that found that 72% of those hired under the 90-day law were European, while those overrepresented on the margins, Māori and Pacific Islanders, only made up 14% and 6% respectively.
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it certainly helped those 72% and also the 14% and also the 6%. But can I say, Mr. Speaker, the study has not been conclusive, but it does show that all types of New Zealanders are making use of trial periods, often getting jobs they otherwise wouldn't have got. And that must be positive, Mr. Speaker.
Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, how balanced a view does she think that the Department of Labour evaluation has been able to reach on the benefits and risks of the 90-day trial, considering that it talked to or surveyed 3,532 employers and just 13 employees?
Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, the study itself is only one part of the toolkit that we've used. We've also been speaking to employees and employers from around the country, and we have received very, very positive feedback. And in fact, if you look at the New Zealand Herald, there are 2 letters to the paper this morning that talk about taking on employees which they wouldn't otherwise have done without a trial period. So I actually think it's a positive development. And, Mr. Speaker, it's bringing us more in line with what is happening in other international jurisdictions, such as United Kingdom and Australia, both of which have more onerous trial provisions.
Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, did she advise the Prime Minister that the Pizza Hut delivery worker who came to his house has no employment rights or protection against unfair dismissal because he's an independent contractor, and that his government voted against workers like him even getting minimum wage last year?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, I have given no advice to the Prime Minister on the employment status of his pizza delivery man, and neither should I.
And that brings to a close questions for oral answer.